Welcome, this is Red from 4 Guys in a Comic. Today we'll be talking about Secret Empire number 0. A lot of stuff has been building up to this. We've talked about all the other issues. If you haven't seen the videos for that, I would recommend checking those out first because all of that explains what's been happening and what we're about to see within issue number 0 here. But before I get started, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the covers that we have. Alright, so we have the regular edition. Wow. Beautiful cover. You got Cap there with torn up uniform revealing the Hydra symbol underneath. Really, really beautiful, well done cover. Great artwork in this. All right, we also have the Funko variant edition cover, which you can see over here to the side. We also have one of my favorite covers here. You have the Baron, he's holding on to a shattered cosmic cube. Pretty cool cover, if I say so myself. And then finally, we have this one as well. As of right now, there's only, 3 variants made for issue number 0. I'm sure we'll probably see a couple more. I wouldn't be surprised if, it gets up to at least, 8 or 8-ish. So at time of this recording, at least, that's all we have. But let's go ahead and dive straight into Secret Empire number 0, shall we? Lots of great stuff, a lot of good information in all this. Alright, so it takes place in 1945 in Japan. You have Steve Rogers climbing up a mountain to a cave and meets up with Kraken. And he's like, it's been a long time. And Steve is basically saying, no, I'm here to fulfill my mission. And he goes on to say, telling Steve about how, I'm really impressed, as my student, you've really grown and beyond our expectations. You are our greatest asset for Hydra. But he takes him to the cave and into this place which is considered to be the source of all of Hydra's power. And there's a lot of information here that really we don't get all the information to. Basically, it's just saying, it's not for you to understand, but give it time. And there's a big pool in there, as we can see in this picture here. And basically it's saying how, the Allies, the U.S. had got a hold of the cube and have changed reality as we know it, and you just don't know things as the way they should be. And when you wake up into the right time era, you don't believe everything that this pool has shown to you. You know the truth, make things happen the way you're supposed to. Abide by Hydra, all great and powerful. So Cap goes ahead and gets inside of the pool, and from there it basically takes us to present day. And with a little dialogue in here, he was the greatest among us, the one we looked to lead us and to guide us. We were wrong. We lost our way, mirrored in corruption and thirst for power, divided by infighting. We'd forgotten our calling. In that moment, at our greatest, instead of challenging ourselves, instead of making things right, we simply gave him more power and more authority. It was easier to let him do what we were too weak to do ourselves, and this is the price we paid. Alright, so that really sets the tone for what's going to be happening within this issue. So we have Steve on a helicarrier, and Sharon is like, oh my gosh, we have 3 situations going on. This just looks like it's the end of the world. I just can't believe we have just too much going on. There's just no way we can overcome from this. And Steve is basically saying, you know what? This is not how the world ends. Let's take these issues one at a time. So first he calls up to Captain Marvel out in space, and she replies that, hey, it's bad up here. We have 1 trillion Chitauri coming after us. The planetary shield is down, which was destroyed in the last Secret Empire issue, which I talked about in the last video. And she's concerned because, you know what, we don't know how we're going to hold these off. We're just doing the best we can. You better get that shield up and get it up quick, because it is estimated that when they get to the planet, within 4 hours, they can kill 90% of the population on Earth. So Cap then goes ahead and decides, okay, thanks for the status update. Let's move on to New York. Well, in New York, we have all of these ex-villain criminals that were once basically, how do I explain it, imprisoned in their own mind by the Cosmic Cube in a place called Pleasant Hill. They're free of all that, and they're taking their revenge onto the Avengers, the world, in New York, right? They're just mayhem and destruction, just going around destroying everything. And so all the heroes that are all left on the not all of them, the majority of all the heroes left on the planet are all assembling in New York to stop this wave of supervillains. And so a lot of fighting going on. The first wave just happens to be the Defenders, and they're leading the charge to go stop everything. Then goes to their third problem, as we see Sharon talking. They're out there in Sokovia, and basically they have formally surrendered, handing over their government to Hydra. Hydra now has access to nuclear missiles that were thought long gone, and Hydra is threatening to target European cities if they don't get recognized. It breaks back into more fighting. Stuff in space is not going all too well. Lots of attacking. New York is a big problem. They're just having trouble holding everything back. And there's some more dialogue. He had always been a master strategist, but freed from compassion and mercy was his masterpiece. It was a perfect attack. Already divided, we found ourselves pulled in so many directions at once that our best was no longer enough. We had stood for so long we didn't even know what it was like to fail. But fail we did. This is how we were overwhelmed and overrun. This is how we were betrayed. It goes back into space, more fighting up there, and things are going really bad. Quasar has been taken out, and it just keeps getting worse every minute for them up there. They need the shield back up. So Steve is yelling down to Tony, who is trying to fix the shield at the station, and they're just not having any luck. They can't figure out what's going on with it. Was the damage that bad? Is it just shoddy government contractors? What is the deal? They're trying to fix it, but they need more time, and time is just one luxury they don't have. Heading back into New York, the fighting is going extremely bad, and all of a sudden, who was it here again? One of the bad guys here, Nitro, he basically sets off a small explosion that really just rocks the foundation of New York and really just throws everything into even more chaos. So it breaks back into them on the helicarrier, and Captain America is talking with Sharon and like, wow, you know what? Yeah, things are bad. We're gonna have to do something a little bit more, get a little more aggressive. And then it goes into a little more dialogue. We didn't know it then, but this was the moment it all ended. This moment being what they're talking about here is the Secretary of Defense called up Captain America and basically said this, all right, you're watching the same thing that we're watching. The president has been moved to a secure location, and I'm being told by the Secret Service to do the same. I never thought we'd see something like this. The Chitauri wave, the attacks in Manhattan, and reports of Hydra activity on the ground across the U.S. It's too much. I'm calling to formally notify you that the United States government has designated this a full state of emergency under the SHIELD Act, which means you, as Director of SHIELD, are being put into immediate command of the U.S. military and federally recognized law enforcement agencies. So now, they've just handed everything over to Cap. He is now in control of the U.S. government. He's in control of SHIELD. He's in control of AIM. He's in control of Hydra. He's in control of everything. A man with all the power. And nobody knows what's really going on. So, it breaks into, everything just going under chaos, and all of a sudden the shield is back up. Boom. And Tony's like, I don't know what I did, but we have planetary defenses again. So everybody's cheering, yay, we're winning, up in space. Captain Marvel's happy because the Chitauri, they're just flying straight into the shield and dying. They're not too smart. They're just killing themselves off. And she's basically like, all right, let's just try to round people up and let them kill themselves, basically. And all of a sudden there's a ray of hope amongst the world and everyone that they're starting to feel safe, and that Captain America has done it. He's saving us. And all of a sudden the people, the attacks in New York, the villains, they're slowly teleporting away. And it looks like, yay, Cap has helped do something again, and the fight in Manhattan is over. Well, it's not over, because with SHIELD, all of a sudden, everybody's getting frantic because somebody has taken control of all of the helicarriers, and they are colliding into each other. And once they start, everything's getting bad, things are colliding, things are being destroyed, Hydra agents start swarming into the command central. And Sharon is, like, all right, everybody, grab a gun, let's take these out. And Cap is like, Sharon, you need to trust me, Just no matter what I do, remember, I always love you and always will. And Cap is like, hold your fire. Everyone, hold your fire. And he turns to the Hydra people and says, I said, hold your fire. I am the one who spoke to you before the first ship fell. I am the man who rules the wheel. If you don't know what we're talking about, you better check out that last video that I did, okay? It'll make some sense. So, all of a sudden, Sharon's like, oh, why do they stop fighting? What's going on? And, all the Hydra agents are, Hell Hydra! And Cap is now revealing his hand. And Sharon just can't believe it. No, I don't know what they've done to you. You've been brainwashed. Something's not right. And he basically tells, take her away. Whoever harms her answers to me. And, Carol, she's up in space, and they have injured. They're still fighting. And she's like, hey, I need a portal opened up. I need to get my wounded out here because things are actually starting to get bad again. And Cap gets on the horn with her and is basically like, you know what? Sorry, I can't do it, He's like, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to help you out, Carol. And she's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, actually, it isn't. There will be another wave, and there'll be another, each coming in more rapid succession. They won't stop until they find their queen. She's like, queen? What queen? And he goes on explaining a Soviet scientist named Ivan was the first to figure out harvesting a Shatari queen would bring an invasion fleet to Earth. In his later years, he was so wrecked by guilt over the discovery that he decided himself to ensuring Earth would never meet that fate. And so he created the first design for the Planetary Defense Shield, plans that you and Marie Hill were so eager to exploit the minute they were first put in front of you. And she's like, oh my God, what did you do? And Cap's like, sorry, goodbye. Click and comms. And she's out there just like, what's going on? And you can see in this panel, it's like, ooh, no, they're just up against the fight. Can't get home, can't get reinforcements, can't get help for anybody. Tony figures out, okay, something was wrong. The shield is now active. We didn't activate it. Somebody from Central Command must really be in control of this. Let's get going and figure this out. Back in Manhattan, Baron Zemo, he basically, did some pretty cool stuff here and basically enshrouded all of Manhattan, where all of our heroes are located, into darkness. All right, a void, basically trapping all of them. They're all just trapped in a void. So Cap has now taken out all of the heroes, out in space. They can't come to Earth, and they're just slowly being picked off and being killed. Taking out all of the heroes that are in Manhattan. They're in a void. They can't do anything, go anywhere. And, Tony's like, all right, guys, I need every hero on the planet to report in. And I'm going to read some of this because I love how this was written, okay? All right. So he says, this used to be a joke, right? Why would anyone live in New York with all the superpower types? This was the plan. Get everyone off the board. Pretty obvious where they're going to hit next. All Avengers, repeat, any and all Avengers that are left. This is Iron Man. If you can hear this, your services are required immediately. We are under attack. If you can fly or are covered in fur, you are needed. If you can read minds or shoot laser beams out of your nipples, you are needed. Even if you just like dressing in skin-tight primary colors and delivering long lectures to unconscious criminals, you need to get your ass in gear. This is retreat. This is a threat. Level red, DEFCON, Infinity stuff. Here, people, we need you to get to Washington, D.C. Final panel, Stage 3, Washington, D.C. Objective, Hydra takeover. Mission underway. And that concludes Secret Empire number 0. Wow. Lots of stuff happened. Really exciting. Really intense issue. I just can't wait to see what happens next. I'm sure you can't either. So be sure to check out my other videos. We're going to cover all of it everything. For you diehard Secret Empire people who may have missed something or didn't know something, we're going to cover that for you. And for those of you that just want the cliffhanger notes so you can be able to understand what's going on and have an intellectual conversation with your friends, we'll have it all covered for you. So remember, the most important thing, Hail Hydra! Cut off one head, two more shall take its place.